Hey y'all, it's Bear, and today I'm here to read 5-star reviews of books that I hate. This is kind of a booktube staple. I posted on my community tab asking what people wanted to see me do more of, and this was one that got mentioned, so thank you to Maya Gaia for suggesting this one. They said, do either the reacting to 5-star reviews of books I hated or reacting to 1-star reviews of books I loved. And I went on Patreon and I asked my patrons which one they would rather see, and everyone voted on the 5-star reviews of books I hated. So that's what we're getting today. So first we're gonna do Jaws, because it's no secret that I love the film Jaws and I despise the book with a passion. When I first saw this book pop up on Audible Plus, I knew I had to listen to it. I read the first book my freshman year of high school, and I've watched every single movie multiple times, even the horrible 3D one. Yes, the 3D one is terrible. I enjoyed rereading the novel that started my love of killer shark tales. Revisiting it as an adult rather than a 14-year-old teen gave me some new insights into the characters, the sheriff and his wife's marital issues, an affair based on need, nostalgia, and bitterness, small-town political drama. I didn't understand most of that when I read this as a kid, but I certainly did this time. And the shark was the same toothy eating machine he has always been. Oh hey look, a surfer. Munch. I think that this reviewer brings up a lot of interesting points, and the fact that I did not read the book as a teenager. I read the book as a 24-year-old, so I read the book for the first time as an adult and understood like marital issues and small town politics and stuff like that. This is a really well written review. I'm kind of enjoying reading this. I don't really understand the pluses of this book other than that it scared the reviewer, which is kind of the point of the book. Let's see if we can find another one. Excellent read, very smooth and never lets up. I disagree. I thought that there were huge chunks of the book that were very boring. It'd be a great book to read on the beach by the ocean. I don't like reading shark books at the beach because then I don't want to go in the water. Really? Did you hear the dog? That's the dog that got eaten in the movie. I was pleasantly surprised because it is freaking amazing. Absolutely not. From start to finish, it never lets up. Why does everyone keep saying this? This book was boringly slow at certain points. You feel the mounting dread and terror. It is such a delicious feeling. It also felt deliciously brutal and gory as fuck, and I enjoyed every single second of it. Did it feel gory? There's characters that I just love to hate, which is always something I enjoy. Okay, that's a personal preference thing. I don't mind characters that I hate. I don't need to root for a character, right? I don't have to be in their corner the whole time. But, like, the flip from this, like, sweet family in the film that I have become so attached to throughout the years to being like, oh, they're cheating on each other, they're having marital problems, there's all that kind of stuff, was a problem for me. So that's enough reviews, I think, for Jaws. One thing I think is really interesting that no one ever discussed in these reviews were the, like, subtle, like, microaggressive racist comments that were through the book that I kept finding. Let's go with The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This one might be a little controversial, but I thought that The Silent Patient was, like, fine, I guess. Hello, Mr. Perfectly Fine. How's your heart after boring the fucking shit out of me? I'm not looking for reviews from people I don't know just to avoid, like, ripping into my friends. I've talked with my friends about these books already. I don't want to read their opinions on camera because I've already discussed them and I know where they're coming from on them. Okay, wow, I'm still reeling from that ending. A mind-blowing to die for twist. Okay. Sure. I went into this book with expectations it would be similar to Alice Feeney's Sometimes I Lie, or one of my old favorites, Before I Go to Sleep. I was wrong. It is so much better. The main characters of Theo and Alicia, are richly layered with just enough reveals leaked out over time that you will constantly wonder who is the unreliable narrator here. You will doubt yourself over and over, and I love that. So I do like a good unreliable narrator. I think that that was one thing that saved it from being a 1-star and brought it up to a 2 for me, so I do agree with this reviewer. I thought The Silent Patient was boring. I thought the characters were caricatures of people rather than actual fully fleshed out characters. I just thought the dialogue was stupid. The characters were stupid. I just hated The Silent Patient so much. It was such a letdown for me after seeing, like, everyone that I knew talking about how great it was. I have always said that I think The Silent Patient is a good thriller for beginners. I didn't think it was twisty and turny. I thought that it dragged and took too long to get to the fucking point. I felt like the book could have been 100 pages shorter and we could have gotten 100 pages more of interesting content. Okay, let's go with another kind of controversial one. That's going to be Final Girls by Riley Sager. I hated Final Girls by Riley Sager. I not only thought it was boring, I also found a lot of microaggressions toward Native American people sprinkled in throughout the book. Comments about Indian burial grounds and how Indian ghosts wouldn't target white women because it was the white man that wiped them out. And I thought it was all unnecessary and it put a bad taste in my mouth. I also hated the characters. I thought that it was not twisty or turny or enjoyable at all. A lot of people are saying I would give it a 4.5, so I need to find like a true 5-star review. Okay, here we go. Here's one. It says, this is a good one. A psychological thriller with lots of blood and gore. Okay. Some edge of the seat mystery. Okay. And a great and totally unexpected twist right at the end. I read it all practically one sitting. It was too good to put down. The title refers to 3 women who are sole survivors of 3 separate massacres. Altogether, a very successful and entertaining book with a good characterization and a compelling story. It's a psychological thriller. You got that right. I guess if you weren't a huge horror thriller person, this might be considered a lot of blood and gore, but it really wasn't. Like, that's the thing. Like, this was very light. This was like, it wasn't even PG-13. This is PG gore. Edge of the seat mystery? Not really. There was nothing mysterious about it. I mean, it wasn't good. Final Girls was not a good book. Twisting turns kept me guessing and interested throughout the entire book. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I left it anyway. I had heard it was going to be a slasher book and like a really bad, scary movie, but it was much better than that. So I think that, yes, I agree that a problem with this book is mismarketing, even though this person doesn't seem to view it as a problem. I do think that people talk about this book in the sense of it being a slasher book. And I do think that if you enjoy slashers, you will find some enjoyment in this, but I try and be very careful and never call Final Girls a slasher novel, because it's not. It's a thriller with a premise of slasher. At least to me, it was so obvious as to who the actual villain in Final Girls was that I never really saw misdirection happening at all. Okay, next we're going with Daisy Jones and the Six. I feel like everyone else read a completely different book in 2019 than I did. Didn't like the writing. I thought that the concept is interesting. I like the idea of doing like a behind the music type thing for this like huge Fleetwood Mackie type band. I thought it was really interesting. And I didn't even mind that they were shitty characters. I just think it wasn't a good book. I love how the book is written as if it is a history of an actual band, as if it's a compilation of interviews with everyone involved. It was wild to see how many different things said or done were misinterpreted or remembered differently to others. I had to keep reminding myself this wasn't based on a real group. The characters just seemed that real. It will be fascinating to see the miniseries being produced by Reese Witherspoon for Amazon and how it plays out. I agree with all of that. I just didn't like the way it was done. I thought it was interesting. It's a super fast read and an engrossing one. I disagree. It took me a fair chunk of time, I think, to get through Daisy Jones. I don't remember exactly, but I know it took me like at minimum a week. It wasn't anything that I could like pump out in a couple of sittings. It made me really feel the different addiction problems that first Billy and then Daisy faced, including the fight to stay sober. I do think that addiction was handled, from what I remember, in a very realistic way. I appreciate the passion that this reviewer has for this book. Masterpiece, incredible, intoxicating, unforgettable, truly one of the most remarkable stories I have ever had the pleasure of reading. The moment I finished, I had to immediately start from the beginning again. I refused to let go, and yes, I did read it twice in a row. Now we're going on to our 5th and final book, which is the one that all of you knew was going to be in here. Bless my heart. Too many of my Goodreads fans rated Twilight 5 stars. I've talked about this enough that all of you know my thoughts on Twilight, and I don't need to reiterate them. So I'm going to read some positive things that people have said about Twilight. This is my Joker origin story. If you get over the icky factor that a 100-year-old man who is also basically dead becomes obsessed and falls in love with a teenage girl, and if you get over all the bad jokes about Sparkling Edward and Twilight in general, etc., etc., in any case, if you don't mind all of these, then you will discover a very clever and intriguing young adult romance with a very strong, complex paranormal romance storylines. Okay, this is one of the best things I've ever read. I can't stop thinking about it. I feel so blessed that this book exists. Apparently there are only two types of people on Earth. People who love Twilight and people who literally want to set the book on fire. So bets on which one I'll be. That's funny. At least we're both self-aware of this, right? At least we both know what kind of people we are. This book made us that so many of us want our very own Edward. We're scrolling past. I want like a critical discussion of this. This person says, this is one of my first good read reviews. I stand by this rating though, but only on nostalgia factor. I think it's important to acknowledge when reviewing books that we have read in the past, how nostalgia is affecting our thoughts on the book. Because sometimes you don't reread the books to get a critical discussion, right? You don't reread books because you want to make comments about the social commentary or the whatever is in it. You don't want to do that. You want to reread it to feel the way that you felt whenever you read it for the first time. I understand that. I personally cannot do that anymore. But sometimes I don't want to have critical discussions on reviews. Sometimes I just want to just read something. Despite what all the haters say, I really love this book, and honestly it was one of the first series books that introduced me to the wonderful world of paranormal romance filled with naive heroines and mysteriously sexy and brooding heroes. No. So, that's gonna be all for today's video. We're gonna end it on that note, because I'm tired of reading nice things about Twilight. Don't send anything mean to any people who I read their reviews. Don't go on their Goodreads reviews and say mean things. Reviews are subjective. Everyone looks for different things in books. Everyone can feel whatever kind of way they want to feel about a book, and it doesn't impact me in any way. Do I like the fact that people like these books? No. But you know what? I don't have to. The positive reviews for Twilight are not reviews that are online for me. The positive reviews for The Silent Patient or Jaws or The Final Girls or anything, those aren't there for me. And like, while I believe that some of these books have genuine problems that like need to be talked about, this video is for fun and I don't feel like getting death threats again. So we're gonna... Everyone is allowed to feel whatever kind of way they're allowed to feel about a book. Everyone is allowed to review a book however they want. I had kind of a lot of fun doing, more than I thought. I laughed a lot. So if you want to see me do a part 2 to this, where I read 1-star reviews of my favorite books, let me know downstairs. So subscribe, hit the bell, share as you see fit, do all that good stuff, and answer the comment question of the day. I want to know a book that people in the community, or just people online in general, whatever, seem to like. It's a book that maybe won awards or ended up on a bestseller list or something, and you just don't get it. Let's have a little bitch fest out in the comments, but like a respectful bitch fest. I'm not saying like open invitation to attack authors or other people in the comment section, but let's just have a little bitch fest so you can vent your frustrations about books that other people seem to rave about. If you don't have time, you don't have the spoons, you don't have an answer, you don't want an answer, let me know you made it all the way until the end of the video by leaving me an emoji, preferably a yellow heart or a smiley face emoticon. You can follow me at all the places in my link tree downstairs, as well as places you can support me further, like my PayPal, my Ko-fi, my Amazon wishlist. For the time being, I will be placing a special wishlist downstairs that looks like books I want for my birthday, because my birthday's coming up soon. And my Patreon. Once again, thank you to my patrons for voting on this video. It was a lot of fun to film. If you become a patron at the $5 tier or more, you do get access to vote potentially on videos that will get uploaded, and we just have a fun time over there. Alright, I hope you have a wonderful whatever it is, wherever you are. I will see you next time with another video. Thank you for watching. Okay, cool. Bye.